I'm gobbling all these red velvet cupcakes until I fill up my stomach and it busts.
Hey, I know what we're gonna analyze. The episodes in season 5. Hope it brings you laughter. This is Afterferb. We got one in the bathroom and one on the stairs. One in the basement. It's a lair entrance. It's the best. Hey guys, welcome to this episode of Afterferb, starring me, Alex Meleras, in the lead role, and my co-leads are Zach and Andrew again. Hey guys.
Hey.
I mean, I guess if we're going alphabetically, it makes sense that Alex would get top billing.
Yeah, and also by that logic, you should have let me speak first because you're Z.
Yeah,
So
I was surprised why I got billing over you, but I'll take it.
Because on my screen, I'm furthest to the right, and then it's Zach, and then it's Andrew all the way on the left. So that's why I did us in reverse order.
We were never on the left.
Ooh, sick Candace Against the Universe reference.
Well, I feel like it's topical because there's a lot of Candace Against the Universe callbacks that are made in this pair of episodes.
That's true. Candace is in these episodes.
So is the universe.
Wow, that's crazy. This is our first time recording since Zach and I were just visiting Alex in Montreal in Quebec, which was a lovely little trip. We got to watch Alex's Purple Stiltskin, the abridged concert.
Which will be online eventually, and y'all should check out.
How do you think that went, Alex?
I think it went great. It was super fun. I've talked about it a little bit on here, so I won't go into the details again. But anyone who wasn't at the show, which I assume is almost everyone listening to this, it is premiering on YouTube Wednesday, November 26th at 8 p.m. on my personal channel. So you can watch it then or anytime afterward.
And then if you don't watch it then, it's the perfect Thanksgiving watch with your family the next day.
It's an original musical by Alex. A selection of songs were performed live. The way I describe it to other people is basically like, what if the fairy tale of Rumpelstiltskin was good and also a musical?
It's a delight through and through. And on top of that, we got to explore Montreal. Got to climb up a big mountain and see snow.
Yeah, we got a little sidetracked at one point, though.
We did, because we recorded a bonus episode of Afterferb where we discussed the most Canadian episode.
Yeah,
Season 4, episode 6.
If you head on over to the MWCA Vault channel, we have a raw, unedited, in-person episode we did reviewing Sidetrack, so check that out. But we are here today to get back to Season 5.
But I will say, there was a moment in Sidetracked which made me raise my eyebrows at a moment in this first episode, Entrance Exam.
Ooh.
We don't have to talk about that now, but I'll save it for later, because it's a moment that I would not have thought of had I not just seen the episode Sidetracked.
All right, I'm intrigued.
Interesting. Okay, I have my first main thought about Entrance Exam. I have a new theory that there's some kind of wager going on in the writer's room, something along the lines of who can make Major Monogram the meanest, who can make him the most insufferable. And throughout the season, they keep up. I haven't checked all the who's writing all the episodes where he gets mean in them. It is a lot of them, but I think it feels like every time we see him, he's like, wow, he's even meaner to Carl than before somehow. And this one, I think we've reached a new peak.
Yeah, it seems to be pretty unanimous regardless of the writer, because this one was done by Kim Robertson, who I've said before I think has a really great
Love
track
Kim
record.
Robertson, shout out.
I think more than an intern was Sonny Carnan, and I think that was like peak Monogram being mean, even though he did have that reconciliation right at the end. Yeah, but in this episode, he's pretty much just like not only forcing Carl to do all the grunt work of checking Agent P's lair entrances and like injuring himself in the process, but he's kind of enjoying it. He's like sitting back with his feet up, eating sandwiches and being like, "Your job's easy, Carl."
I mean, I feel like now would be as good a time as ever to address my my observation. About Mean Monogram.
Mean Monogram.
Because it occurs at the very end of the episodes. Maybe I'm jumping the gun a little bit, but as we all know, he's making Carl do all of these entrance tests. Mm-hmm. And then at the end, he goes, great, now time to do all the international entrances. But according to Sidetrack, there is the COWCA, the Canadian Organization without a acronym, that's not their jurisdiction. So why is Carl responsible for testing all of the international entrances when there is a separate division for Canada and presumably other countries?
Maybe Carl just has to test the entrances of people coming from outside the U.S. into the U.S.
Yeah, that's the way that I read it. I don't know if it was like a direct callback, but instantly that line reminded me of all of the episodes where Phineas and Ferb's family are on vacation, because they've been to like Hawaii. I guess that's not international, but like Africa and England. I think we've seen them in other countries. And usually those entrances will still lead Perry to his lair in the U.S. from wherever he is.
I just want some consistency on where their jurisdiction lies. That's
everywhere except Canada.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were talking at the bonus episode. Why is ALCA not the American organization? It's because ALCA covers every country in the world except for Canada.
That makes sense.
Well, Andrew, pull up the screenshot of this episode. When it shows the map, is Canada included?
Yeah, I think it is.
Oh, okay.
I'll find it later.
We'll find it later. Maybe in between last summer and this summer they changed their rules. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. All right, so I gotta say, one of the very refreshing things about this episode, no pun intended, is that we got a relatively small amount of Dr. Doofenshmirtz. I kind of like when he's, yeah, especially because he's been, so heavily featured so often in the season.
How can you say you don't like the main character of the show, Alex?
I didn't say I don't like him. It's nice to have a little bit of balance, and we have him hanging out on vacation with the A Prime Calypso instrumental. And so because of that...
You were so quick to clock that, because we watched this in person together, and you were like sitting there like scratching your chin, and then you went, A Prime Calypso!
Is that from Hawaiian Vacation?
Yes.
I'll tell you why I was so quick on A Prime Calypso. Because Charter Schoolgirl, who has, posted many songs, including A Prime Calypso, I at one point downloaded pretty much all of them, or all of them that were out at that point, and they're sorted in my iTunes in alphabetical order. So when I throw it on, it'll often just go right to A Prime Calypso. So it's pretty much entrenched into my mind pretty firmly now. But anyway, because of that, we get to spend more time not so much in the backyard, because again, I think what they were doing is like, not so inspired. But
they were making Arnold Palmers. That's it.
I gotta say, Zach, on our last episode of Afterferb, Alex asked all of us if we could fill a Bread Bowl hot tub with any drink. What would it be? And you said Arnold Palmer.
I did say Arnold Palmer.
And then this very next episode, that's what they're making.
Oh God, I manifested this.
You did. Yeah, I gotta say, this is probably the most apparent instance of Phineas and Ferb doing a big idea where I immediately went, they've done that, because they have the lemonade stand in like season 2.
Kind of. I mean, they're like, hey, we'll make lemonade, but this time we'll add tea also. And this time there'll be conflict and we'll fight about it because we're becoming teenagers soon.
I get that it's nuanced, but man, and then it's like they had the Western town where the only difference was the forced perspective. It's gotta be hard to tread territory where you're not repeating ideas.
I know it is, because I've thought like, what would I do instead? And I don't have any ideas.
Yeah. But to your point, Alex, I do like the added nuance of it. And we saw a little bit of it in Bread Bowl Hot Tub, but there's like a little bit of infighting going on in the backyard gang, specifically beef with Isabella and Baljeet.
Which is fun because we get to see another instance of Phineas not liking conflict and trying to mitigate that.
Yeah, we were saying last episode how we kind of would hope they explore more the fact that, Phineas's one weakness seems to be like people pleasing and not knowing what to do in the event of conflict, and that happens again here when Baljeet and Isabella are just yelling at each other.
Yeah, I mean, you got to imagine spending every single day all summer with the same 4 people. You're gonna get on each other's nerves. Doesn't matter how much you like each other.
Alex, didn't you spend last summer with me, Andrew, Ben, and Julia every single day?
but each of you were gone for like 2 weeks at a time for some reason. So
okay, that's fair.
So you're saying Isabella or Baljeet needs to take a vacation?
I'm honestly imagine they did that arc like, Buford's on vacation for this next 2 weeks with his family.
I think the Bread Bowl hot tub journey had to be somewhat of a vacation for him, even though it apparently took place in one day.
Yeah.
Yeah, did we ever figure out how long that took diegetically?
I think it was like half an hour.
Great.
Enough for the sunset to start and then go back to being daytime.
Mm-hmm. So we also got in this episode a direct reference to Musical Without a Cool Acronym. When
Buford removed his
skull shirt to reveal a blue shirt underneath, and then later removed the blue shirt to reveal another skull shirt underneath, which Ben Cross, MWCA's Buford, already did 4 years ago. So I don't know, just saying.
But his blue shirt didn't have the skull on it, which I thought was a nice touch on the tracksuit.
Yeah. It wasn't perfectly accurate because Buford's blue tracksuit did not have the MWCA logo on it. But I'd like to think that if legality wasn't an issue, that was the intent.
Probably.
Yeah, no, that was crazy because we were watching that episode with Ben, and it was not even the first time Buford ripped off his clothes, because that's a gag we've seen before, but it was the second time, and I'm like, oh, art imitates life. This is the Carl at the pizzeria all over again.
Yeah, this is the second reference to MWCA this season.
I just want to say, I legitimately really enjoyed this episode. I think I would give it an A. I think there were two things this episode could have included to bring it from an A to an S.
I think I know where you're going.
One of them is in the song when Carl is testing out all the lair entrances. I would have liked to see some callbacks to some of the classic ones, like the Gonna Get a Mission, like boat ride, or some of the
like
ones,
specific references.
Yeah, like if there were specific references to like season 1 and season 2 lair entrances that were iconic instead of all new ones. Don't get me wrong, I love the song, but that would have been a fun little. I mean, we got the guy from Milo.
Scott the Undergrounder. When we talked about the battle days, they had that like mole society, and we were like, why is this not just Scott the Undergrounder? They already have a character that embodies this, but we got him here.
Yeah, so it was like, if you're already going to include Scott the Undergrounder, include some of the more iconic lair entrances, but still a great song, a great sequence.
To your point, though, I get what you're saying, Zach, but I did like, because I've also mentioned on this podcast before, like, wow, they have a lot of lair entrances that involve specifically the bathroom on the upstairs floor.
Yeah.
And they directly acknowledge that in the credits of this song. They go, if you want one in the bathroom, we got plenty of those.
That's a good point. But then the second thing that I think could have brought this from A to S, and I think all three of us, also real quick, a fun fact about this episode. This is the first Phineas and Ferb episode that all three of us watched together in person for the first time. And that was a big milestone.
That's true. In the series run.
So that was fun.
Yeah, and you really passed your exam of entering a different country to do that with me.
Yeah. Life imitates art. I really think something that all three of us agreed was that when Stacy appeared and heard Monogram's voice, we were a bit bummed that maybe she didn't recognize Monogram's voice from her interactions with Perry, or tried to cover up for Monogram and Carl. I liked Stacy appearing, but I think having at least even a subtle nod to her relationship with Alka would have tipped this episode over the edge from being great to like all-timer.
I completely agree.
All right, I have conflicted thoughts about this. Because the first time I watched this, I thought, when you look at Stacy's initial reaction, it looks like she kind of winces a bit. And I thought like, oh, she definitely knows who that is, but is trying to like hide it from Candace. But then it goes on a bit, and later she's thinking about like, I wonder what my secret name would be. If Candace is Carl, maybe I'm like Frederick or David or whatever she says. And she was kind of just saying that to herself. So that made me think, oh, maybe she actually does think this is the mysterious force and doesn't know who it is. So it almost felt like they tried to have it both ways a bit. I don't know because I do like the fact that Stacy, that they're still doing stories with Stacy that don't only involve her knowing Perry's secret and still involve her being Candace's friend. I would have liked maybe a little bit more of an overt, like, oh, that voice, it sounds a little familiar. It's probably nothing. And then we just kind of carry on.
That's what I'm saying.
I would have liked that.
If they wanted to go the route of she doesn't remember, or they could have made it more obvious that she does know who the voice is, and it's just kind of like, yeah, I'm sure it's the mysterious force, and definitely not a man who works under your house.
See, that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying the whole plot around Stacy had to do that, because like you said, I miss just having episodes where Stacy is with Candace just as friends. But the fact that there wasn't even like a passing mention, or that it was left ambiguous, was the one part that was like, I feel like we could have had a line.
Yeah, this felt like a plot that would have been like perfectly at home in like season 3. And I agree with your points that I don't think Stacy knowing Perry's secret means every single time she appears has to revolve around that. But it's the fact that her plot did specifically revolve around Alka and Major Monogram that made it feel a little bit weird to me. Because even in like Druselstina Ween, she's very
plumber repair guy or whatever.
Yeah, she's very quick to recognize Monogram, even when he's in costume, as like, hello, Mr. Water and Power guy. And you know, she talked to him directly in Agent T for Teen.
Okay, you know the line better than I do. All right.
Some of us made a video review of Druselstina Ween on their personal YouTube channel. I'll put a link to that. Anyway, yeah, I think that for me, like it's nothing that this episode like did that was bad. It's just like what it didn't do. I feel like just being more conscientious about the Stacy Aka storyline would have taken this from like, in my opinion, like a high B to like an A or an S tier, like you say, Zach.
Yeah.
Still a lot of fun though.
I think this was an A tier. I just don't think it was an S.
I agree. I loved it. I feel like two of my biggest like gasp, lean forward in my seat moments this season involved Candace and Alka. It was the first one was in Battle Days when she falls into the lair with a blanket covering her head, and I was like, like oh my god, what's gonna happen? And then they like flip her away. And then this one, as soon as she hears Monogram saying, "I'm a force to be reckoned with," and she like leans over the bathtub, I think I did actually physically like sit up in my seat and like lean forward. I was like, oh, where are they gonna go with it? It was I do, despite the Stacy qualms, I think apart from that, this plot was really perfect. I think everything that they
I agree.
wrote for Candace to hear Monogram say was very funny. And one of the first things is wiggle around a little, and then she starts to
she does the little
really
dance.
Sets the tone perfectly for exactly where we're headed.
I love that moment. No, I completely agree. It's interesting. You mentioned the Battle Days. In some way, I feel like this episode does a lot of the things that the Battle Days alluded to, either better or more fleshed out.
The Battle Days.
Well, Alex did too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, between like, because the Battle Days also had them exploring the underground, and it also almost had this moment of Candace coming to terms with Alka, but this one like actually went all in with it. I think it was better executed here. And yeah, I just really like seeing characters that don't interact very often. Like Candace and Monogram, aside from like maybe briefly in Across the Second Dimension, like I can't remember them ever interacting. And we had like Norm and Carl last episode. I like thrusting these new character dynamics into the mix.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we got the I want to point out a few other highlights of the Monogram, those Monogram Candace interactions. In particular, Candace being like, "Show me a sign," and Monogram's like, "How's this for you?" And he starts like flashing all the lights by accident and like flipping all the the entrance. I really, because so much of this episode is Monogram just haphazardly opening whatever entrance in the house he feels like.
Yeah.
It really feels like, I think I said this verbatim on one of our recent episodes, but we really are reaching Hannah Montana levels of carelessness with keeping this secret.
I mean, he launches their entire invention across town.
Yeah.
That was another, like, I don't know about a gasp moment, but that was just a great moment for me. I'm like, oh,
that made me laugh very hard.
Yeah, because not only the implication that Francis Monogram could at any time just accidentally fling the entire backyard, like make the kids fly away to wherever Doofenshmirtz's vacation is, but I think we were also talking recently about some of the very classic subversions of, oh, Doofenshmirtz is a nader, they'll bring me a drink a nader, and the invention is a drink, so that's obviously how it's going to happen, and then instead it's Monogram going boop, and the entire thing just flies away. So in a way, he did serve the function of the mysterious force this episode.
Also, speaking of subversion, maybe this wasn't a subversion, but when Carl was stuck in the tube and he was like, "Sir, I'm hot and I'm really thirsty," I was like, oh, this is going to end with the drinks flushing Carl out. Nope, Carl just never got a drink.
Yeah. I
Even the writers are mean to Carl.
This episode had a lot of fun making you think you knew exactly what was going to happen, which I guess to a degree every episode of Phineas and Ferb does. But here it felt like they were even more meticulously planning it out.
Yeah, I think when Carl said, "I'm so thirsty," I think Andrew, you on the spot were like, "Oh, he's going to get the drink is going to come down."
Nope, yeah. I was wrong.
I've never heard Carl so pained as in that line. "I'm still stuck. It's hot. I'm so thirsty." I was like, man, he's really getting tortured.
As a claustrophobic person, and somebody who played Augustus Gloop in a production of Willy Wonka, that really spoke to me.
What a random lore drop.
Also, speaking of just lore drops, I don't know if that's the appropriate segue, but is this the first mention of the talking zebra that calls Candace Kevin this entire season?
No, he appeared earlier, didn't he? In like...
Did he? I have...
Submarine Sandwich or something? I thought he appeared in one of the earlier episodes.
I have no recollection of that.
Yeah, or was it License to Bust?
Yeah.
One of the, I think I vaguely remember.
We've been doing this podcast for so long that even the early June episodes are starting to fade from my memory a little bit. I'm pretty confident that he did appear.
Okay, well, I don't remember it. But it was a pleasant surprise to hear Candace mention it.
And I like that Candace is just quick to accept that some forces just call her different things. Because we have to remember that, like, Candace is fully justified in believing in the mysterious force, but the zebra calling her Kevin is just a sign of actual insanity.
Or it's just an actual zebra that calls her Kevin.
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't consider that.
We still need that moment in Hamster and Gretel where the zebra shows up and calls Kevin Candace.
Yeah, still waiting for that.
Speaking of, that's my segue into a pointless note that doesn't affect anything. They're using incidental characters from Hamster and Gretel more. I noticed this when they were lined up outside of the lemonade stand, and you can tell because they have a different art style and they look weird.
Huh.
I did not notice that.
They also recolored Cindy's hair.
I don't know
Cindy,
who that is.
the hit character played by Caitlin Garnett in Musical Without a Acronym.
Exactly. This concludes my comments on the incidental characters in this episode.
Wait, who is Cindy in Phineas and Ferb?
She's the one in Musical Cliptastic Countdown that's like, oh my gosh, when they're about to introduce Ain't Got Rhythm.
Great. Okay. Fantastic. I'm glad.
I think she has like 2 lines of dialogue in other episodes. I don't know.
She has more lines of dialogue in other episodes than Lawrence Fletcher had in this episode.
Yeah.
We were psyched to see Lawrence again.
Man, he appeared, not only did he not speak anything, but they made him look so no thoughts, head empty. Like, his mouth is doing that thing that, like, sometimes, like, Rick and Morty characters do where their lips just kind of, like, dangle. He looked completely brain dead. I hate to say it, but I think they're going all in on the fact that, on the concept of Lawrence just being stupid dad.
And I hate that.
Well, I think they were at the start of the season, and then the second half, I don't think he said a single thing since, like, episode 10 or something like that.
Maybe he got lobotomized after episode 10, and that's why we haven't seen him much.
Maybe he's still recovering from his laser eye surgery.
Oh, from MWCA. Yeah, of course. That's canon, actually.
Mm-hmm. No, I do... Because when Lawrence is good, he's good. When he's funny, he's funny. I might have mentioned it. I really love the Father's Day episode with him and his dad. I love when they're in Britain and he's talking all British.
As he's known to do.
As he's known to do. And I think it was Kian who mentioned also, like, why don't they spend more time hanging out at the antique store? Like, that's probably like an endless well of inspiration for more inventions is the antique store.
Have we even heard any reference to the antique store?
Yes, because it was the one moment in Mantis Fact that I liked in Mantis Fact where Linda's like painting an antique horse and Candace is like, can you stop painting that antique carousel horse for one moment and come outside?
Yeah.
But beyond that, no, not really.
I
tend to forget everything that happened in Mantis Fact for my own sanity.
Mantis party.
Yeah.
It's not a party, it's
a fact.
I want to circle back a little. I honestly don't have too much more to say about this episode other than that it was generally pleasant. But I want to spend slightly more time on the song, the Lair Entrance System Check. I really like this one.
Was it written by Martin and Olivia?
Yes, I think it was Martin, Olivia, Dan, and Swampy. And I'll edit that if that's incorrect. But yeah, something about this one, I really liked the vibe. It was almost like kind of like a ska song in a way. It changed keys a couple times, which I thought worked really well in relation to them just going on and on about how many different entrances there were, because it's like, oh, we're still going. And the wiki says the vocals are done by Robbie Wyckoff. I didn't immediately recognize, because usually he's doing more like rock, like screechy songs, like The Way of the Platypus or Football X7 or whatever. But presumably this is his like more natural singing voice, and I really like how it sounded. I wish this one was on the soundtrack.
Yeah, well, he also sings Everything's Better with Perry and is more like softer.
Oh, that's right. Voice. Yeah, he does sound similar to that song.
Yeah, so that didn't really click to me either.
Everything's Better with Perry, the hit song that was included on the pre-show playlist of Purple Stiltskin.
That's true. I had it playing at the venue beforehand. Yeah, but I didn't really recognize Robbie Wyckoff right away either. But yeah, it's a great song, and it has a very sudden ending, cut off not by a screaming boat, but by a screaming goat, I should say.
Or a screaming boat.
Or a screaming boat, but by Carl saying, Sir, I think I'm stuck, and Monogram going, we've all got our own problems.
Yeah, not to keep comparing this episode to the bad old days, but this is how you end a song abruptly if you have to. This was way better.
With Carl getting stuck.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
also, Perry's jacked.
Yeah, okay. This might be unpopular. I think the characters being buff bit, I've liked it in one or two instances this season. When I saw it in this one, it annoyed me. I think they're doing it too much. Because they already had like Swole Perry and Monogram and Doof.
Yeah. I just feel like I never really loved that gag so much. It just, in every instance, it always felt to me like, oh, you don't need that. You can just have them like use their physical strength.
Yeah.
So because of that, it doesn't really affect me one way or the other.
I feel like it almost to me, slightly takes away from the appeal of Agent P, where he's very good at what he does. He's strong, he's agile, he's committed to the mission, but he doesn't like flaunt it. Like, I feel like once he starts like flaunting and being like, look how muscular I am, it almost takes a little bit away for me personally.
Yeah, actually think of like in Across the Second Dimension when he's like holding on to the cage so people don't fall off, how less that would hit if he like got super big biceps in that moment.
Yeah. It's also like, it's like why they don't make him smile all that often, because it's like if you're a little bit more reserved, I think it has a little bit more impact. But that's just a small nitpick.
Well, he was really cute when he was sleeping in the first 10 seconds of the episode.
Yes.
So that makes up for it.
Yes.
All right, I have one last question about this episode.
Sure.
What is the I don't know if I want to say free space. Name one of the spaces that we don't get to see on Candace Bingo.
Oh yeah, because we had Mysterious Force talks through plumbing, 50-foot Ferb, talking zebra, head is invisible, parsnip poisoning, mom is on the moon, pillaging Vikings, something about a psych ward that's cropped off by the edge of the screen.
Yeah.
I was going to say asking, hey, where's Jenny?
Oh, that'll never get checked off.
That's my answer.
I'm going to say achieved level of fame, because I still like that small little ongoing arc about her character that she wants to be famous, even though they barely acknowledge it anymore.
I'm going to go with tricked Jeremy into writing a letter to Santa. Yeah.
Letters to Santa.
On a side note, we also watched Phineas and Ferb Christmas Vacation while we were in Montreal. And if you guys are ever bored, go on Disney Plus and play around with the different language dub settings, because we watched Candace singing that Christmas feeling, the bit right after the Olivia Olsen song
Christmas feeling.
in like Hungarian and Korean and like 6 other languages, and it's so funny literally every time.
느껴 크리스마스 기분 제레미 편지 써 산타 할아버지한테 예예 어어 크리스마스 기분 노래가 절로 나와 yeah.
If you ever run out of Phineas and Ferb content, just watch the international dubs.
We also listen to Forced Perspective Western Town in many different languages.
And it hits in every single one.
Yep. All right. Well, I think that's it on entrance exam. I loved this one, if it wasn't already clear enough.
It was really good.
And so now we're going to pop away for no time at all and be back. We may not have a special guest.
Tick-tock, Carl.
Isn't this bantering just the best way? We'll be right back, maybe with a guest.
We're back. And this is something that has never happened before in the history of this podcast. We have a 4th person in the call with us, coming roughly halfway through the episode. This is a Dungeons & Dragons expert, a digital artist, the inspiration behind Kian's chase of the Phineas and Ferb ice cream truck, crying her eyes out since 2020, Brooke Edewaard.
Hello.
Wait, that last name sounds familiar. Do you perhaps know Jonathan Edewaard, who we had on Afterferb roughly 10 episodes ago?
Yes, I am in fact married to Jonathan Edewaard of the Second Dimension YouTube channel.
Whoa! And that happened because of Afterferb?
Close. It happened because of Phineas and Ferb. Yeah, so 2020 Candace Against the Universe era was when we got together.
Mazel tov. We are so happy for y'all. And also, you two are just such a delight to hang out with every time we get to see you. Thank you so much for coming on today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Would you be able to describe your relationship to Phineas and Ferb in 2 minutes or less?
Yes. Okay, so I was introduced to Phineas and Ferb by being at a neighbor's house. And it was on the TV, and I had not been given express permission to watch the show yet, so I came home and was ridden with guilt. And I told my dad, I'm like, I watched a show without telling you. And he's like, well, tell me about it. And so I explained it, and it was Phineas and Ferb Get Busted. And so I'm like, the sister, like, she was trying to get her brothers in trouble, but then she felt bad about it, and she was trying to, like, help them get better and everything.
Wait, this was the first episode you saw of Phineas and Ferb?
That was the first episode I ever saw.
Oh my god.
What a strange first episode.
I know. But I think it worked in my favor that it was, like, she was trying to make up being mean to her brothers. Because then my dad was like, well, let's sit down and watch some of it. And immediately he's just like, yeah, this one's good. Let's keep watching it. And that was when I was in 5th grade. So it would have been 2009-ish. And from then on, I was hooked. I've made so many friends in person and on the internet because of the show. Met my husband because of the show. It just means so much to me. And I have always been big into making fan art of the show and reading some fan fiction, which is relevant to the episode I'm discussing today.
Yes. I know what you're getting at. And
Yeah.
I'm excited. We'll get there. Any thoughts on your experience with season 5 specifically?
Season 5 has been great for me. I do wish, a kind of shared opinion with a lot of people, that there's been more of the actual kids in this season. But like, aside from a few things, it really just feels like the old show is back to me, which is better than what I expected. I didn't expect it to hit as close to the same as it did. I mean, I knew that I was gonna love it regardless, just because of how much the show means to me, but I've been really happy with how well it holds up, and my friends and family who aren't as connected to the show as I am, when they've seen episodes from this season, they have felt the same way, and that's just really nice to see. It's just nice to feel Phineas and Ferb back in the eye of culture and not just looking back at songs from season 1 and 2.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm sure you were just as happy as we were to see Albert Du Bois return.
I was! He didn't speak, but he was there.
There were moments where I thought he may have spoken because his mouth was opening, but then Diedrich Bader wasn't even in, like, the additional voices credits for this one, so he truly was just there on screen.
Yeah.
But we were all very, because Alex played Albert Du Bois in the ensemble of MWCA, and I think we were kind of like, somewhat ironically, but somewhat genuinely being like, Alex, this is the one, Albert's returning, and we, like, filmed your reaction, and then there was, like, nothing.
They all cared more than I did, because the reason I chose Albert to play in the ensemble is because I happen to have the clothes that most look like his, and, like, the glasses that look kind of like his. I don't really have an emotional connection to him.
By clothes, you mean you had a green shirt?
I had a green shirt and, like, gray pants or something.
Nice.
Yeah.
Before we delve super into Dungeons and Dating, Brooke, was there anything about entrance exam that you had to share?
We got Scott the Undergrounder. We're one step closer to Milo coming back. I, like, based on the photos of Weird Al when he was back in the writer's
booth.
room or recording. Yeah. It has to be coming soon. So it's really nice to see Scott the Undergrounder. And it's nice to see him in a non-speaking role because I can only handle so much of him.
I love that character. I can hear him talk all day.
I love him, but also you get to a point.
Yeah. All I have to do is squint my eyes.
If the first speaking Milo character to be back in Phineas and Ferb was Scott the Undergrounder, that would be... I'm glad that it hasn't been him yet. I think someone else needs to have the first line.
The timing, because Weird Al was in the booth, like, I feel like similarly, like, around the time we were seeing videos of, like, Michael Bublé and the other season 5 guest stars, so I'm inclined to think he might be coming in episode 19 or 20 of the season. It'd be weird. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe the season finale.
Maybe the season finale is
Could
just
be.
Weird Al shows up as himself.
I'm thinking, because we still, guest stars that have been announced for season 5, the only one left is Meghan Trainor, right?
As Vending Machine Prime.
As Vending Machine Prime.
Which we still don't know what that means.
I feel like that's related to vending machines become the dominant race. And
his deep fear.
That seems like season finale material.
Season finale vending machines rise
yeah,
up.
Yeah.
That sounds like a Milo plot.
It could also be.
That's why Milo's going to be there.
There you go.
I think if it's not in this season, I feel like it's probably going to be like first episode of season 6. Similar to how Milo waited for their Phineas and Ferb crossover. That's kind of what I'm thinking.
Other Milo characters we might get, Bradley would be pretty easy to procure, voiced
This
by
is true.
Vincent Martell himself.
Yeah.
You could throw in a line for him.
And Lydia.
And
And
Lydia.
Neil from the comic shop.
And Dr. Heinz Doofenshmirtz.
Oh, yeah. And
Cavendish and
Melissa-
Dakota could make a cameo.
Cavendish and Dakota would come back, and I would be thrilled for that.
they could probably get most of the cast back except for Mackay Curtis, who is famously too busy.
Too busy. Yeah.
Famously too busy.
Unlike Sabrina Carpenter.
Who
Yeah.
has plenty of time.
Yeah. All right. So I've got to say, somehow this is the second time this season that I'm bringing up Sam and Cat, but this episode reminded me immediately from the jump of the second episode of Sam and Cat. So for those who aren't familiar, the first episode of Sam and Cat is where Sam and Cat meet and move in together. And this is coming off Victorious being kind of suddenly canceled, and so fans of that show were sad about it. The second episode of Sam and Cat was all about Cat being really sad that her favorite show was canceled.
Oh.
It was very like meta and very on the nose.
Wait, I remember this.
And so they were not going for something similar because this is like episode 18 and they're not referring to a specific show, but it did somehow strike that very same tone of we're so distraught that the show has been canceled that we have to do something about it. And
where was this fan base for the Who Was show?
seriously.
I wasn't going to bring it up.
Where's Phineas going? The Who Was show canceled due to.
I loved that line.
By the way, when Phineas says that he's been carrying around that poster since season 2, do you think he's saying season 2 of Finkbat or season 2 of Phineas?
Oh,
and
it was
Ferb?
100% a wink to the camera. I read that as because that's the Nerds of the Feather was in
Yes,
season
it is
2.
Nerds of a Feather.
Yeah.
If I hadn't known, I would have thought, season 2 of the show they're talking about.
I think it was both.
Since season 2 of Phineas and
Maybe.
Ferb. Okay, it
Yeah,
worked for both.
I think it's absolutely both.
Okay. And we also found out that Isabella has written an undisclosed amount of fan fiction.
Yeah.
How much?
It's undisclosed.
It's undisclosed.
Yeah, I have to say between both of these episodes, I feel like Isabella fans had a lot of great moments to latch on to. What are your thoughts, Brooke?
Absolutely. I am like, as an Isabella fan, Phineas is my favorite character, Isabella is second. So I was living these 2 episodes. I like that Isabella, and her engagement with fandom culture, kind of similar to Candace in the not controversial at all episode Mission Marvel. How Candace mentions writing fan fiction in that they're just so genuinely invested in the stuff that they watch. And it's nice to see that happen with female characters and not be the butt of a joke.
Mm-hmm.
Which I guess it kind of was a little bit more with Candace, which is one of the many things with Mission Marvel. But with this, Isabella is just genuinely a huge fan, and they're just they're curious about it and they're not negative about it.
Yeah. I'm realizing now, because you mentioned Mission Marvel, it is interesting that Candace is so shamelessly, because she's a huge fan of Thor and Iron Man and all the other characters in that, and yet here in this episode she's very much LARPing. Ew, that's below me. That's nerdy. So it's strange where that cutoff lies for her.
Well, the cutoff lies in the fact that this episode is good and canon, and Mission Marvel is erased from my memory.
Mission Marvel is not bad.
Am I the only one that likes
It
Mission
has
Marvel?
problems.
I like
What?
Mission Marvel despite its flaws.
We should. I
I
think Brooke and I
agree.
are kind of on the same. Oh, you agree with them or with me?
No, I agree. I like Mission Marvel, and I also think that it has major flaws, but I
think
like
Mission
it.
Marvel is one of the very worst episodes of Phineas and Ferb of all
Oh
time.
my gosh.
Would you
And
say
people-
that to WatchMojo.com, who ranked it as the number 2 Phineas and Ferb episode?
Did they
for some-
actually?
They did.
That's kind of insane. No, but it's because, like, okay, a little bit of a tangent, but I feel comfortable in this opinion. Well, first, I never engaged with any Marvel content, but I'd also never engaged with any Star Wars content. And I love the Star Wars special, and I hate the Marvel special because it's bad and not interesting. So,
Star Wars one
Anyway.
is way better than Mission Marvel, like, obviously.
Somebody should make a video comparing Phineas and Ferb Star Wars to Phineas and Ferb Mission Marvel and
That's
put it
true.
on YouTube.
That's crazy
Did
if
Jonathan
that
do
was
that?
He may
currently
be doing
in
it.
progress.
Oh, okay,
That-
got it.
Yeah.
By the way, real quick, I wanna circle back to the comment about Candace being like, "Ew, LARPing, that's nerdy."
Mhm.
I feel like that was only mentioned once or twice in this episode,
Mhm.
which when Jeremy is revealed to be the guy at the end, which first off, fantastic continuity from
Mhm.
Candace Against the Universe. We were rooting for Jeremy to appear that whole time. I feel like that would have hit harder if they were leaning more into the "this is nerdy"
Yeah, I
thing.
agree.
Like, I would never associate with somebody who does LARPing. Like, I feel like they could have heightened up Candace's aversion to LARPing so that moment hits a little harder.
I don't
I
know if
agree.
I agree. I think they did it the right amount. It was pretty subtle, like when Buford's like, "You were born to LARP," and she's like, "Ew, no." Like, it's just kind of not really her thing. And then I actually like the fact that she kind of gets won over to, oh, LARPing is actually kind of cool. And then
Yeah.
Jeremy reveals himself, like, it was me the whole time. Otherwise, I think it would feel too much like oh, Candace doesn't like LARPing until she finds out Jeremy does. And then she's like, okay, LARPing is cool now, which would have felt...
I should clarify. I like that she changed her mind regardless of Jeremy. My qualm was that the "ew, no" was really the only instance of Candace not liking LARPing. And I feel like there could have been a couple more moments like that so that it felt like more of a payoff.
I think that it would have been nice to like have another moment, but also I think that it's a really nice parallel to Candace in Nerds of a Feather when she is just so deeply ashamed of being such a big Ducky Momo fan.
Yeah.
And Jeremy is the one who's like, Ducky Momo's for little kids. And like then he finds out that it's Candace and like immediately he's just like, yeah, like this is great for you. I also think that like her being her own fanfic writer, I mean, people have so many different niches of fandom. Candace seems to like cosplay and things from her childhood and then also big tough superheroes. And I don't think that from what we saw in the Nerds of a Feather version of Stumbleberry Thinkbat and Space Adventure, that there's that many like things that would appeal to Candace in those pieces of media, at least on the surface. So I think that it makes a lot of sense that for these things that her little brothers, who she's constantly like battling this admiration and resentment for, to be like, I don't want to be involved in this lame thing that y'all are interested in, to then come around and be like, oh, that was actually kind of fun, is
She
a
got
really
distracted
nice...
by the coolness.
Yeah, she got distracted by the coolness. And I think that that's a nice little arc for her, but I think that there's not that many people who are that invested in Candace's arc through the seasons that would pick up on that. So I agree that there definitely should have been some more lines about it.
Speaking of getting distracted by the coolness, I forgot to mention in Entrance Exam that Stacy, on her way into the house, appears to be almost distracted by the coolness of the big lemonade tea machine. She's like, ooh, that looks fun, but I gotta go inside.
Well, because that makes sense because Stacy was not around for the last time they did the exact same thing with the lemonade stand, because that was the episode where she and Candace had the friend breakup. So she's never seen them do anything like that, as opposed to all of us who were not distracted by the coolness because we were like, yeah, they already did this.
This is why you listen to Afterferb for the astute observations. Like Stacy has only once seen Phineas and Ferb make lemonade.
Yeah. I gotta say, okay. Yeah, so Stacy was back in this episode, and she had a bunch of flyers on her wall. That gag,
I love that
felt
gag.
Very like season 1 in the best
Yes.
possible way. Like, oh, they do work
Yes.
back, because like in Roller Coaster, they've got flyers up at the supermarket and everything.
I like when they bring it back at the end where Jeremy's like, yeah, I saw flyers in my room, so I
flyers
can't.
in my bedroom. So funny, so good. So that felt very season 1. One thing that did not feel very season 1, and again, this is a compliment, is when basically Candace is walking through the, I don't know, dungeon or whatever it is, and not getting hit by all the arrows and traps and fire and stuff. If this was season 1, she would be absolutely yoinked around the room, you know? She'd be burnt up by the end, and they're not doing
That's
that
so
to her all
true.
the time anymore.
Yeah, no, because I was like, think back to like Swinter. She's like falling off a mountain, hitting every
Mhm.
possible thing. They definitely have toned down, I think, just how cruel the universe is to Candace.
I just realized, why were they surprised that Jeremy was there if they put the flyers in his room?
Well, they probably put the flyers in everyone's room, and they just saw who showed up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Stacy didn't show up, so
I found it interesting that the little posse of D&D players they gathered was largely kids we've never seen before. I mean, we had Irving and Albert in there, but then none of the Fireside Girls. It was all like new characters. I guess they want to establish like these aren't just any kids in Danville. These are the nerds in Danville.
These are the nerd kids.
yeah.
But to Brooke's point, I like that like Isabella, for example, leaned into it so heavily, and it wasn't the butt of any joke. It was just like, yeah, she's in it, and that's awesome.
Mhm. And she also was the one to invite Phineas to go see Stumbleberry Thinkbat in, I forget which episode it was.
I don't remember that. That's a deep
not split personality. It's the one where Phineas and Ferb fused together.
Canderemy?
Yeah, Canderemy.
Mm.
Got you.
And she's the one to invite him to go see the movie. And yeah, she ends up going with both of them.
So on the topic of Stumbleberry Thinkbat, it's a little interesting because I think Space Adventure is like very clearly like, okay, this is like Star Wars, Star Trek, a little bit of Doctor Who sprinkled in. Stumbleberry Thinkbat, to me, in like Nerds of the Feather, it very much read as like Lord of the Rings.
Mhm.
Yes.
And in this, I guess it's not really like that much of a change, but it's like they're leaning more into the D&D angle of it, I think, specifically so they could make it a dungeon crawl. But that is a different thing.
Yeah, it's really interesting to me because they lean into the D&D aspect of it, but also they don't. Like, they're incredibly vague with anything that's actually related to, like, tabletop role-playing game, like, mechanics.
When I saw the dodecahedron dice, I was really hoping there would be some sort of a joke where it like lands on like a nat 20, or like maybe the whole dungeon started like rotating on the inside as a result of the dice roll. We only sort of got a very small glimpse of that at the end, but yeah, it did read as kind of a surface level understanding of D&D.
Yeah.
Which is what I have, so it's fine by me.
And that's what most people have. And so I think that that's really, like, that's good too, because the less complicated you are with it, the more that you potentially get people excited about it. Because, like, in Gravity Falls, their episode Dungeons, Dungeons, and More Dungeons, they get very into the mechanics of that. And that's the whole, like, joke of it at the beginning, is that, like, it's super uncool. But I like how they're very much making it like, no, this isn't a thing exclusively for nerds. Like, you can just have a lot of fun with it right off the bat.
Yeah.
Yeah, the thing that I didn't really understand until Dungeons and Dragons recently is that the point isn't really to like try and win the game, because if it were, then I could just be like, oh, I want my character to have unlimited power to do whatever they want and just defeat enemies all the time with whatever, and then I win.
Yeah, it's kind of like improv.
Yeah.
Like you're just making stuff up, but it's like nerdy improv with stats involved.
It really is. I think that it's funny that Candace's thing that finally wins her over to it is just basically brute forcing past all of the traps. Because that would absolutely, like, just infuriate a DM of just like, no, I put so much work into these puzzles and she's just walking past them.
What's the roll you would have to land like 20 on for that to be permissible? Would that be like luck? Is that one of them?
Or stealth?
You would probably also need to have advantage on a lot of stuff, but I think it would probably be like acrobatics or something.
Well, Candace does have a lot of advantages, apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah, mysterious force is on her side this time, so.
Yep.
I won't harp on this too long, but in that scene, I noticed strange things going on with the animation yet again in season 5, specifically Candace's walk cycle. I don't know if anyone else has noticed this, but they had that shot where like the floor is crumbling and the kids are all like running away. And then it cuts to an overhead view and Candace is just like very calmly like moving her arms. And then she does it again in the scene where the traps are all chasing her. I feel like it was almost written for it to be more of like an angry stomp through it, but we just got this weird little chill Candace walking.
Yeah, I did not notice that one, but I did notice all of the stiffness in Passion Villa.
Oh yeah,
We gotta
we haven't even
talk about
talked about the
Passion
B
Villa.
plot yet.
Yeah.
We've got to talk about Passion Villa.
Great name, by the way, off the bat.
Yeah.
Okay, I kind of want to start on this. All right, this aggravated me. Okay, I have only ever watched Love Island through osmosis by being in the room as other people do it, and I usually can only last like a minute, and then I have to be out of there. But I think they got this parody wrong a little bit, just in the sense that they exaggerated where they didn't have to. Love Island is so ridiculous on its own merit. All you have to do is basically just like, you don't have like, I wish I had written down the examples, but like one of the girl who's like, I want someone who's so full of himself that there's no room for me. It's like, it's like you don't even have like to actually like what I would do to pastiche Love Island is basically just have her say like, I want a guy who's confident. And that's everything. And that to me is funny enough by itself because it's just so vapid. It's so nothing, it's just garbage TV. And
Yeah.
I feel like to even add anything that looks clever to it kind of ruins the joke a bit.
It's like when the whole that SNL finds themselves in when they have to parody like the GOP debate or something. It's like
Okay, but also they have like 3 days to come up with it. Like that, like you got to keep
Oh,
in
Zach-
mind.
the SNL defenders.
Zach
you gotta-
immediately defending SNL.
You got look.
They
look,
had 3 days to come up with Passion Villa, guys.
yeah, like they had
They
more time
actually
to come
had
up with passion.
apparently they had 2.5 minutes to cast the show. Apparently,
I was about to say, is the show live? Like,
yeah, they appeared like they
This one
because
is.
Monogram was commenting on it, and then in real time we saw.
why is
Terry
Monogram
show.
Team Evan? That's what I
Why-
wanted to know.
I don't think Monogram has the best choices when it comes to romance and relationships, so
As we know from his messy divorce this season.
yeah. But also I love that Monogram and Perry were just having a Passion Villa watch party, I guess.
Yeah. To your point, Alex, I get that, like, yeah, maybe they pushed it a little hard, but I also feel like there were some lines in there that really did get me. The one that I wrote down was the girl going, "Oh, I can't be with a guy who apologizes." Though I guess to your point, like that almost does sound like something that could come from the show. I recently watched Love Island South Africa, I think it was. I don't remember why. I think I was just in a mood for some complete mindless slop of television. And seeing that before, I'm like, yeah, they got this one pretty down pat. Also, Ian Sterling, they got the actual announcer. Like, that just is the Love Island host that they got to do the voice
Oh,
of
that's
this guy.
cool.
Which I
That's
thought
so
was
fun.
Are we gonna talk about how Alka just continues to be incredibly reckless with keeping Perry's secret at this
yeah,
point?
Perry's on TV
Yeah.
now. Perry's on TV.
Yeah.
He's just on TV.
This has been such an escalate since you started pointing this out, Alex. Like, even from last episode where you're like, he's in a restaurant, now he is on national television.
On a
I
show
know.
that, to be honest, Candace and her friends would probably watch.
Yes. Like, I don't think anyone else in the Flynn Fletcher household would be the first to turn on that show, but Candace absolutely would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not to mention the part that, like, we are really just continuing, like, Perry as canonically attractive to human women. That's like,
I'm fine
just
with
part
that
of
angle. I
Flynn.
think that's funny.
Well, think of how Buffy is in the last episode.
oh god, yeah, of course.
Yeah, I think I generally did like this Doofenshmirtz plot. To me, my only qualm with it was that because they went so all in on like the we're satirizing Love Island, we kind of lost any moment of Doofenshmirtz actually interacting with a woman, which is something I was kind of looking forward to at the start of the episode when they do like Doofenshmirtz trying love again, because that was like a fairly consistent recurring theme they had throughout the first couple of seasons of the show. And I think some of the best and also most tragic moments come from like when it almost works out. I mean, like, you know, the girl from Happy Evil Love Song is the most heartbreaking one I can think of. We didn't really get any of that in this episode,
Well,
though.
because Doof does something boneheaded when Perry appears. Because he's like firing his inator to shake things up, and he's firing at all the guys. And then Perry the Platypus appears. He's like, Perry the Platypus. I didn't know you were also looking for love. And then instead of blasting Perry immediately, he just blasts the 3 women that are right next to Perry. Why would he, if he's trying to find love, why would he not shoot Perry before shooting the
Because he's trying to find love with Perry.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
So this goes back to fan fiction.
It goes back to the AMV of I Knew You're Trouble that Disney Channel officially put out. I can never get over the fact that that exists.
Oh, it's so good. We should post a link to that.
Honestly, you know, talk about it more. I think what could have worked with this Passion Villa B plot a little better for me is if, number one, Doofenshmirtz is focusing more on like talking to the women and like getting to know them and trying to find love. And then he finds out like, man, everyone here is so stupid. I can't
they're too
stand
vapid
any of
for him.
them. You know, and then he just kind of like, there must be someone better for me out there.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The angle could be because Doofenshmirtz is usually the butt of so many jokes, but in this instance, he would still like be like, no, I'm above this.
Yeah, because like it does feel weird that the angle is like, wow, everyone here is, you know, attractive and stupid, and Doofenshmirtz feels like the butt of the joke just because he's like the conventionally unattractive one, which I don't know, it feels like the easy route. I don't know.
Yeah.
There was more that could have, I don't know. Something about this Passion Villa thing. I was like,
I feel like this B plot needed like a second draft.
Yeah.
If I could make one change to it, though, I think I would make the Shake It Up-inator replace 2 of the women with Bella Thorne and Zendaya.
Nice.
Bring the lights up, dust the dawn. Or, oh wait, yeah, no, I was gonna say make a joke about Gunter and Tinka. I think those are their names. But Zendaya and Bella Thorne were also in the Platypus Walk video. So.
Oh, there we go. God, I like how literally
Which
anything
is on Disney Plus
Channel...
now.
Yeah, Disney Plus uploaded a bunch of the music videos of Phineas and Ferb songs, and some of them are incorrectly labeled. All right, if we don't have more to say about the B plot, I want to bring it back.
I do have one more thing to say about the B plot.
Oh yeah, go for it.
Evan. I did like that. I know that was so stupid, but I really liked that. Also with Doof looking through the dating profiles initially and finding Robotina, and Norm going on the date with Robotina at the end.
At the Fork of Destiny.
What a great tag.
Yeah, I guess Rodney's robot Chloe is out of the picture, though.
Man, they really forgot about anything to do with Rodney.
They pulled apart, yeah.
Weren't they not allowed to date because
they weren't, but they left with like a Romeo and Juliet. Like, you could still be like, no, the heterosexual robots are gonna find each other again.
Man, now that the Monty Vanessa arc is fizzling out, I think they need to circle back to the Norm Chloe arc.
Yeah, they need something.
This is the true hanging loose thread.
But then again, I've been human fished. One of my favorite.
That was great.
That was really good.
That was great.
I love frowning Norm whenever we see it.
Me too.
Yeah.
I think we were also worried in the first 10 episodes that the absence of Norm, but I think basically the second half they've got that balance back to what I think it should be, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I really like the exchange that he has with Vanessa, where she's like, I can't look, and he goes, I can't look away.
Yeah.
Because that's also basically everyone's reaction to fluff reality TV like Love Island. So
my reaction isn't I can't look, but please don't make me watch. I think there's a subtle nuance there. One line near the end, or I guess after at the end of the dungeon plot, that Andrew made you laugh a lot when we watched it, was when Candace was going, I will still be busting you guys, and Phineas goes, okay, Candace.
Okay, Candace.
It's so funny.
I wrote that down. I'm like, I
wrote that down too.
So fun.
I'm almost curious how intentional it was, because it very much reads as Phineas being like almost a little bit spiteful with it. But I also know that Phineas can come across that way when Vincent gets in his more like agreeable sort of mascot sounding Phineas. So I'm curious what was written in the script, but either way, as delivered, it was so funny.
Yeah, I didn't see condescending. I just felt more of like he was talking down to like a little kid or something. Like, yeah, you do that. You have fun.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how it felt to me, and it was so good.
It felt like, to me, that we all know the cliche of, Phineas just being overly positive and like, I don't want to say being a flat character, but this was like an egregious example of that where they were overreaching, and I think like playing into it for laughs, and it worked. All of us laughed.
Yeah.
All right, we got to talk about the dungeon crawl song.
Oh yeah,
the Phineas walk cycle in that. Okay, another example of the animation being all over the place. That Candace walk cycle bad, Phineas walk cycle good.
Yeah. I mean, we've talked about this a lot. Season 5 really, I think, is just the most inconsistent looking show it could be, because there's moments in this that look great. I think maybe they did put a lot of the attention into the song specifically. I like this one. It grew on me a little after the first listen. This was co-written by Whitney Avalon of YouTube fame, who did those like Disney princess rap battles. And as soon as I clocked that, I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense. She also, I realized, co-wrote Mom Stuck on a Zip Line, which is another one that we really like this season. I think the only rap that has like fallen flat for me this season was the Big Bird Mansion.
Yeah.
But for me, this one worked. I liked the instrumentation. I liked, was it the theremin? The one that was like, doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo, that kept getting higher pitched.
Mr. Theremin?
Sure.
I can't remember.
I feel like I would have remembered a theremin. I don't know, maybe not.
I don't know. Some sort of synth. I also liked, I don't know, this song, I honestly wasn't super big on it the first time I listened to it, because it was very much that sort of like campy, like, where are kids rapping at you? But upon re-listens, I'm like, I don't know, it's just clever. I like Isabella's, it's not an ambigram, it's an anagram. And she also has the live, laugh, LARP, which it's just, man, I don't know. Something about the campiness worked for me in this one.
Yeah, I think also it had like the way they wrote it, specifically the Let's Live Laugh LARP, was more fun banter between like her and Buford and Baljeet, which we had in entrance exam too. But it felt more like a conversation song than just the kids rapping at the camera.
I think maybe that elevated it a little over something like Big Bird Mansion.
Yeah, I definitely liked the conversational elements of this song more than I liked the non-conversational verses, because those, a lot of the time, just felt like rehashing what we've already established. Like, yes, contract negotiations broke down, so we're gonna, finish the story. And it's like, I know, thank you. But yeah, the rest of it, like what I liked about it was the little jokes, like the harp and the lyre and live, laugh, LARP and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Another musical thing that I really liked in this episode too was when Candace steps on the last tile or when she starts stepping on the tiles to like magnetize the robots, the Candace Against the Universe theme comes in the background.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, which
That's really
I think
cool.
is really fun to both be like Candace building into a heroic moment and leading back into the Jeremy reveal as the man in really dark gray.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the second time there was a Candace Against the Universe music that I didn't notice this season, that someone later pointed out.
Yeah, they did a very subtle sting in Meet Me in St. Louis as well.
If I had a nickel.
I like that it's funny you mentioned Mission Marvel earlier this episode. To me, the man in really dark gray just looked exactly like Dr. Doom. And yeah, I know we talked about it already, but I'm just glad Jeremy was here. I literally spent this whole episode being annoyed that he wasn't in the group until he showed up, and I was like, okay, good.
Once he saved Candace, and she was like, he saved me. We were all like, oh, that's gonna be Jeremy.
See, as soon as I saw the first glimpse of the man in really dark gray, I knew. I watched this whole episode with a smile on my face. I'm like, it's coming. It's coming.
Well, I don't know. This is a show where I feel like they remember the obvious continuity things you'd expect them to remember, I think, like 75% of the time.
Yeah.
Because every now and then there's a weird oversight, like even like the entrance exam Stacy thing. So I wasn't sure, but I am glad that they were in fact doing it.
Yeah, I was pretty confident Jeremy because they kept saying LARP over and over again, and so I was like, okay, they could have called it something different if they weren't going to include Jeremy. You know?
Right. I think that's also a difference between, like, we were talking about how it wasn't super like D&D mechanic stuff, but I really haven't done much LARPing, or really I haven't done any LARPing. But I think there's probably a lot more flexibility when it comes to that, and a lot more like a kind of different set of rules. It's a lot more actual improv and less dice. So, I mean, I'm not an expert on that, so I can't really speak as much to it, but I guess that makes a little bit more sense on why they weren't as into the mechanics of it.
You know, it's kind of interesting that Mitchell Musso's last recording session as Jeremy was talking about LARPing.
Please don't tell Candace.
And he never would.
He never would.
But David Arago Jr. would.
Yep. All right, there's one other little thing I want to say. I pointed out, I think it was last episode, or maybe the one before, that Buford at one point sounded not pitched up. Because
I noticed it this time.
They usually do pitch up Bobby Gaylor. And I think, and definitely at the very beginning of this episode, and I think also toward the beginning of Entrance Exam also, it's like those first scenes in the episodes are sometimes where Buford sounds a little bit deeper for some reason. So I don't know what they're going for there.
Yeah, it was sort of a weird oversight.
I need to listen again too, but I feel like they haven't been pitching Isabella up, at least not as much as they did some in season 4.
Yeah, well, I like that. I cannot stand how Isabella sounded in season 4.
No, they started putting her voice up too high.
Yeah, I think Isabella sounded her best in Candace Against the Universe, and they've mostly kept that through this season, which I really enjoy.
Agreed.
Speaking of Isabella, I have one last question for all of you, unless there's anything else we got to get to first.
Yeah, any other things we haven't mentioned, Brooke, that you had in your notes?
Oh, I was also, like, talking about how Stumbleberry Finkbat was very Lord of the Rings. The puzzle night that they had at the end made it very clear that this was like a techno fantasy thing, which was very interesting because, again, if you look back to Nerds of a Feather, our one example of canon Stumbleberry Finkbat, besides the trading card mission briefing that's in some other episode, it's very clear that technology is witchcraft to them. Which, maybe that's a narrative thing? I don't know. But yeah. I want to know what story the writers had in mind for Stumbleberry Finkbat, because they had to come up with something. They had to loosely come up with something.
Not to sound mean, but I think it's very possible they didn't. I think they likely just were like, we're gonna take little bits of anything that's like D&D, Lord of the Rings, like Harry Potter adjacent, and just like put it in here.
Let me be in denial. They had to think of something.
All right, if you know how the Enigmata Obscura operates, is it magic or is it technology? Sound off in the comments below. And what is the story of this last episode of Stumbleberry Finkbat?
Well, Buford says it at the end. It's that the man in really dark gray saves the long-necked princess. Freakishly long-necked princess.
I made a note of how happy Buford looked when he was standing between Jeremy and Candace, because he's so in love with both of them.
This is true.
Yep. All right, I have one last question for everyone here. What is the title of Isabella's The Goblin's Filibuster fanfiction?
Mm-hmm.
Wait, you said the filibuster. What is the name of it?
Goblin's Filibuster.
The Goblin's Filibuster.
Hmm.
Oh.
Let it sit.
I'm gobbling all these red velvet cupcakes until I fill up my stomach and it busts.
That's a long title.
Wow.
I got Goblin, Phil, and Buster in there.
Let's think.
I didn't let it marinate at all. That was the first thing that popped into mind. No regrets.
12 disgruntled goblin men?
Ooh.
Instead of 12 angry men?
I like that. Because Isabella loves legal dramas.
We'll filibust together forever, Isabella.
That's the point of a filibuster, actually.
Exactly. That's my entry.
All right, I need one too.
Yeah, Alex, it's not so easy when you give us these hyper-specific questions.
Yeah, I know. Give me a second. I'm going to go with Meet Me in St. Louis. All right.
I'm sure whatever fan fiction of Meet Me in St. Louis Isabella wrote is better than what we got, but
Anyway, this is so true.
Yeah. All right. Well, Brooke, would you like to plug yourself? Where can the people search for you and find you and watch you?
Yeah. On Instagram and TikTok at Brooke and Co Studios. And then also on YouTube as Brooke AC.
who is the and co?
It's just me or whoever family or friends I rope into helping me with packing orders once I eventually get my online shop back up and running.
Oh, fun.
Love that.
I never knew that AC stood for and co.
It became standing for and co because I wanted to continue to I just used Brooke AC as a handle, and the and co actually came second.
Yeah, I thought the AC stood for A Prime Calypso.
It does stand for A Prime Calypso, yeah.
Love that.
Yeah, people usually pick up on that pretty fast, so I don't know why it wasn't clear. It's just initials, and then I'm like, well, let's think of how I can actually use this.
It doesn't stand for Brooke, cool podcast guest.
It stands for Brooke. It could stand for that, or Brooke Air Conditioning. People like that one.
Very true.
Air Conditioning Prime.
Yeah.
Well, our show, I guess, is about to go on another temporary hiatus of indeterminate length of time because we don't know when the last 2 episodes of the season are coming out.
Yes, and I was hearing discourse of people speculating exactly how many more episodes there will be because there's 2 more half hours, but I saw somebody being like, it's got to be one big 44-minute special. And I don't know. I mean, we know the finale is like probably going to be at least a 2-parter based on comments Olivia gave us.
Yeah.
I guess we'll see.
In the meantime, though, if you want to go back and re-listen to our episodes, please do so. Please rate the podcast 5 stars, leave a review, leave us a comment. Any sort of engagement helps us out.
Yes.
And we appreciate any and all of you that have listened to us for the last 6 months.
Also, real quick, if you haven't, go check out the What Is This Feeling Wicked parody
Yes.
we have on our MWCA channel.
Very good.
With Ben in a garage reprising their roles as Baljeet and Buford.
What is this feeling, fervid as a flame? Does it have a name?
That has been popping off, so thank you to the Wicked and Baljeet fans.
Yes, thank you.
And we're thinking of doing something in December, like maybe a Christmas adjacent thing. So if there's anything specific you'd want to hear us talk about, let us know.
Yeah, and any special episode ideas, just comment. We will consider.
Unless the idea is bad, then we won't consider it. All right. As we say at the end of every episode, Cloudy with a chance of mysterious force talks through plumbing.
Cloudy with a chance of mysterious force talks through plumbing. Live, laugh, LARP.
Live, laugh, LARP.
Hey, I know what we're gonna analyze. The episodes in season 5. Hope it brings you laughter. This is